Hi, welcome to Boardman Outlook. We are the Boardman Township Trustees. I'm Larry Moliterno, along with Brad Calhoun and Tom Costello, giving you our monthly update on what's going on in the township. And I guess some of the first things we want to talk about are just some fun activities that are going to be coming up this spring. The weather's finally starting to break and getting nice, so we want to remind everyone about, first of all, the Memorial Day Parade, which is May 27th. It starts at 10 o'clock at Center Middle School, goes right up 224, and it's just a wonderful event that really does showcase the township, because not only being able to show everything that we have in the township, but also the school band is very much involved. Boardman Park is in its glory that day, and if you haven't had a chance to see the end of the day, I know, Brad, you always like to talk about that. The parade ends up in the park with a beautiful band concert and really an opportunity for us to honor our veterans.
Well, I say it every year that it's really one of the highlights of the year, just because it's kind of personal, I guess. My father, being a veteran, he gets to walk up and then we walk through and shake hands, and he has a lot of pride, a lot of pride that he has to participate in that.
It really is a great event.
It's an opportunity for us to honor those folks, and I look forward to it every year.
Now, the other thing that we have coming up on June 1st is Community Day, and we started this a handful of years ago, and it really is a good opportunity. It grows every year. We're involving the park. We hope to involve the schools again this year, and we bring out a lot of the fire trucks and the police vehicles, and we invite people to come, bring their families. It's from 1 o'clock to 2, or from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. At the township parking lot right on Market Street, and we will have hot dogs and cotton candy and a lot of those kinds of things. It's really a nice event too.
Well, and I think the parks this year are going to provide some rides with a hay wagon, and from what I understand, they're talking about taking rides over to Janie Jenkins' property over on just went blank.
Yeah, because that's so historical, because of the old racetrack that was there.
Right. And I understand they're working to have a horse stables there actually still working, so that people can enjoy the horses right here in Boardman.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be an awesome opportunity, I think, for them to be able to kind of bring that property back to life.
Yes.
I think that's something. She left that property, and I think she'd be very happy to see how it will be utilized.
Absolutely. Well, so now also, I guess, another project that we're working on this spring that's coming to fruition now, it finally is the Boardman Lake project.
Yes, thank heavens, coming to fruition. This was a project that was initially drawn up back in 2003, and the project is actually trying to solve a couple of water issues. There are homes that had a lot of water problems between 224 and Boardman Lake, as the water rushes in heavy rain events heading north to end up in Mill Creek Park. The pipes there just weren't large enough. So all of those pipes have been increased to bring the water quicker towards Boardman Lake. But then we had problems north of Boardman Lake, where all that water then caused problems for those homeowners. And if anybody takes the opportunity to drive down Ewing Road, they'll see an enormous detention pond is in the midst of being installed. So you understand, retention holds the water continuously. It's a retaining lake. Detention will just do that. It detains the water so that water can be released without causing downstream flooding. And it's our hope, and it's what MS Consultants drew up, that this will solve both the problems north and south of that area. And Brad, I know you and I were over there one day, happened to get there at the same time and walk the project, and it was amazing to see what they've done over there.
Well, I know the contractor said really all the neighbors have been out kind of keeping an eye on it, but they're all very excited about the potential here, and kind of saw a little of that action. We had some rain not too long ago, and some of that water was already kind of forming. It was, even though it was a mud pit right now, but they are going to hydro seed that here probably within the next couple days.
Yeah.
I mean, this show's going to air in May, and I would imagine by the end of May that will look completely different with grass seed, and it should be done. I think that they're probably about 95% done. I go home that way every day from work, and it's paved up the roads.
Okay.
So it's coming along, and I think that I think residents will see a difference. Hopefully, we don't have any of these major rainstorms.
Well, as I say, none of us want to relive what we had to go through around that time. I know, Tom, you were in office at that time, and I think that there was a lot of projects that got on the books, and there's been periods of time over the last 10 years when we thought we had funding to do a lot of those projects, but the funding has kind of dribbled in, and we're doing these projects as we can, but this was really one of the big ones.
This was a big one. This is a $368,000 project, and we received funding. The township's portion is 31%. We got funding for the rest of this project, which is just huge, to try to solve this big of a problem and get 69% of the money from the government, from the federal government.
Right.
Now, the other thing we want to talk about is back in November of 2011, or I'm sorry, it was the summer of
August.
2011, that the people in Boardman supported the township by providing the police levy, that we were able to go out and make a commitment to hire some additional police officers, and we really are starting to now see the difference of having these new officers in place, and we just recently swore in our final officer.
Well, 2011, we had about 47 officers, and our goal, if the levy passed, there was some personnel that we're going to be hiring to support. But the number one priority was to increase the force by 10 officers, and really one of the crowning achievements of passing that levy was being able to announce sometime about a month ago, we hired actually number 11 because we had a retirement, which took us to a full force of 57 officers. And there's no doubt by the response that I hear from the community, visibility. I mean, instead of having 4 and 5 officers out, now there's shifts out there of, in the busy shifts of 11 officers. Visibility and the ability to investigate, and as the chief said 100 times, to go out and hunt.
Well, and I think that's what people might not necessarily see. I mean, they'll see the presence. What they don't see is that we're able to now, with this with 57 officers, to be very much more aggressive in how we go about preventing a lot of crimes.
Well, and if there's a problem in a specific area, we now have the resources to focus in that area and try to solve that problem. And in talking to some neighbors, they seem to be very thrilled with seeing the cruisers more often, but they're aware of our ability to focus when there seems to be an issue arising.
Well, we attended 2 community neighborhood associations.
Yeah.
They were actually on the same night. We went up there, talked to the residents, and I'm telling you, both communities, distinctly different areas of Boardman, both of them said crime has gone down. There's a difference, and they're seeing officers out on the road, and that's really making a deterrent.
Well, and I think it's because we have gotten so aggressive on this, and we're letting the bad guys know that we're not going to put up with this in our community. And I also want to tell people that are out there, and I think you're seeing that when they go to the block watch groups and things like that. If you see things in your neighborhood that doesn't look right, call us.
Right.
Please.
Call the police department, because we want to be able to get out there, and we want to be able to take care of these problems before they turn into larger problems.
There's really very little you can do if we're coming after the fact. Mm-hmm. And I know people have said that after the fact, they said, I thought I heard that window broke, but I just thought someone dropped something. Mm-hmm. Just, it doesn't hurt to call. I mean, I'd rather send an officer out there just to find nothing than to come back later and have to take a report.
Now, the other thing that came along with that levy was also, if we hired police officers, we need new vehicles.
Right.
And I don't know if people realize, and Chief Nichols gave us a really good update at our last board meeting about just how much wear and tear these vehicles go through.
Well, I think the fact that we started questioning, he was purchasing vehicles, and we kind of, we purchased a couple vehicles last year. I think we questioned, and we got this, I think, 2-page email justifying the purchase of 3 more vehicles. And what you're going to notice is there's a blend of cars out there now, and he's switching over some of the cars. If you ever have an opportunity to see one of our officers out and you see one of the smaller cars, take a look at it. You'll see that it's very difficult to get in and out. And quite frankly, some of our prisoners, people that we arrest, have a difficult time. Not that I'm trying to make them comfortable, but it's also difficult for the officer to get them and transport them in the back. So they've been switching over to these SUVs. And we did question the cost, and it came back, it was about $1,200 difference. But the amount, he brought them up to the township, showed us a show and tell, so much more room. The equipment is, their demands, I mean, they need hammers, they need tools, they need, the guns, ammunitions, they need first aid kits. They can't fit them out, and these SUVs are certainly, making a difference as far as the police officer and the amount of equipment we can have on the road without having to wait for someone to come with it.
Well, and we put a lot of miles on it, and like as the chief explained, you can't have these vehicles running. We run our police department's obviously out 24/7. We can't have these cars going constantly, but he gets over 130,000 miles on each one of these vehicles, and I think this is an opportunity for us also to to thank Mike Carquito, who is our mechanic at the township, who does a fantastic job of getting the most out of these vehicles.
We're fortunate. He was hired several years ago, and he does such a fabulous job. In fact, when we buy the cruisers and they need fitted with all the additional accessories, he's so good. He does all that work for us and saves us money, but he's also so good. We have other police departments coming to us to help with their problems.
It's about $1,500, I think the chief said, savings by having it all, taped up with Boardman Police, and then all the grading in the back, everything that goes into making a car a police car. If we would send them out like most police officers, most stations do, we do it in-house, $1,500 per car.
Well, come on out on our community day on June 1st and have a chance to visit and see some of these vehicles on the inside. And I think you'll be surprised just how much equipment is in there and how technical police work has gotten. And it really allows these guys to go out and hunt. And I know that there was an unfortunate situation where recently we had a break-in, and I think it was within 24 hours. Our police department caught the guy, so they're doing a great job.
And one thing, the chief has mentioned just since the summer months and stuff like that is, he says a lot of the theft that's going on in the cars and stuff is people you're leaving things in clear view, laptops, cell phones, things like that, clear view in their car, but they're leaving their cars open.
Yeah.
And people just, they just walk up and down the street at 2 in the morning and open it up, take what they need, and what we're finding is that the whole street will have 5 cars broken into, but 4 out of the 5 probably are already open. They're inviting people to so put some lights on outside and make sure that the doors are locked.
And if you hear anything, give us a call.
Absolutely, and if you don't want to dial 911, you can dial the other number that is answered by dispatch, which is 726-4144. That gets you right to the same dispatcher. Say, hey, I've heard something, I've seen something, doesn't look right. We'll send a cruiser out.
You mentioned dispatching. We also hired 3 dispatchers. Normally we wouldn't hire 3 at a time, but I think we have a couple of people that I've been told one of them might look to go to part-time. One of them is looking retirement, and actually I think he retired yesterday.
Yesterday, April 30th.
It was his last day. Yeah, April 30th was his last day. So.
And then we had one that became a police officer.
Yeah. So, and it actually takes as much time to train a dispatcher as it does to have an officer on the road.
Very stressful job.
Right.
Well, the other thing we want to talk about and getting into some of our other departments is in zoning. We're welcoming back an old face, aren't we?
Yes, we are. When I was around before...
You shouldn't call him an old face, though, because he's my age.
Well, then I'm not going to say a word. Darren Crivelli was with Boardman Township for several years as our township zoning inspector, and about 5 years ago went to Austintown. His good friend David Ditzler, they went to high school together, asked him to come back and help them out with some issues, and Darren went back to Austintown. However, Boardman actually does set the standards in Mahoning County when it comes to zoning issues. And Darren happens to be that individual that has the knowledge. And as we like to say, Darren wanted to come home. So starting Monday, May the 6th, our new zoning inspector will be Darren Crivelli. I say new, he's had the job before. We look forward with great expectation to getting him back in the seat because we've got so many projects going on right now. Some demolition projects, and maybe we want to talk about one that's supposed to happen in the next 30 to 45 days. But we're trying to clean up some zoning issues. So Darren will join us on Monday, May the 6th as our full-time zoning inspector.
Yeah, it's going to be great to have Darren back. I've met him a couple times and had an opportunity to sit down with him recently when we were entertaining the thought of bringing him back. And I believe he's going to help us with all that. We got some major projects, and this is going to make a difference here.
Right.
Well, I think the other thing about Darren that I want to mention is that Darren did leave the township during some difficult times here. And I think by Darren showing, that he wants to come back to Boardman Township, I think shows the confidence that he has, and I think the confidence that we've been able to build up as a board to get things back on track and to move into the future. And I think Darren does see that we are moving in the right direction, and we're making some good decisions. I think he wants to be a part of it again, which I think speaks volumes.
Well, we're finding that out for all sorts of positions. When we advertise for a job opening in Boardman, we're getting several qualified applicants. And it's people realize Boardman's back on track. and they want to be part of the winning team.
Right.
And we're really seeing some quality applicants, and the same thing happens with the boards that we appoint to. It's humbling to see the people who are sending us notes and letters saying, hey, what can I do to help Boardman?
Right. Well, I mean, you know what, we took a back seat about 4 or 5 years ago, and I think the community even lost a little bit of confidence, but I believe we've been progressive in the past, and we kind of stalled there for a while, but I think the current board now, and we've gotten back to the, Boardman back into the leader again. Our police officers went down, we're back up, and now we're back working on the task force. We got so much great cooperation from these other agencies that it's just incredible, and it's really a tribute to everybody in the township, and then, like you said, the people that, there's so many people in our community that do things for us on boards, and I can't tell you how many people have said, what do you got out there for me? I'd like to be a part of everything here. And we have made so many new appointments, and we did a lot of reappointments. Now we're doing new appointments because people are asking to be involved, and we really want to get more people involved. We thank everybody that has participated on a board. I mean, we're not looking to replace people out of spite or anything. We're thank them for their service, but we're looking to say there's other people that could bring a fresh idea in.
I think I think you're absolutely right, because when I look at a lot of our boards, we have some really great people who have served, a lot of them for a long time, doing a wonderful job for the township, and we certainly appreciate that. But when you have so many more people who want to get
Right.
involved, we really do feel an obligation, I think, to the community to allow some of those people to participate also. So,
Absolutely.
the other thing about, we mentioned zoning, and we know that this is that time of year where the grass starts to grow and we start to see some
Right.
problems. And we just want to remind everybody that if you do see anything in your neighborhood with the homes or with the yards, you can call our zoning department at 330-726-4181 and report any concerns that you might have.
Right, or you can, go on our website, and there's our township administrator. I'm not sure if Darren has an active email on the website yet, but the township administrator, our deputy administrator, all you really need to do is send them high grass, here's the address, and we'll take it from there. We'll send out an inspector, we take a couple pictures, we send a letter to the homeowner, we give them a few days to address it. If they don't, we go back out there and say, nope, didn't do it. We then vote to declare it a nuisance, and then we hire someone to go out. They can actually come in and bid on these jobs to mow the grass, and then that money then gets attached to the tax bill. I mean, sometimes they don't pay their tax bills, but maybe they're foreclosed or something, but eventually those homes will sell and we'll recoup our money, but the township will pay for that up front.
Well, and I want to emphasize that any phone calls or emails are anonymous.
Right.
So, there are people out there who say, gee, I don't like the way my neighbor's yard looks, but, I don't want them to know it was me. They won't know.
No, it's not important.
Right, and then another thing that we're probably going to be talking about over the summer, that as the grass grows in the spring, so does the orange barrels on the roads, and I think that we have a major project which, in the long run, is going to be make getting around Boardman much more convenient. In the short run, not so much.
Yeah. ODOT has announced a major project at 680 and 224, right to the gateway to Boardman if you're coming from the east. That would be Poland. And they are going to totally restructure the exit for 680 there by, Red Lobster. And so we've seen the drawings of it. The project's about to start any day, and it will take a good portion of the summer, but traffic on 224 at 680 is going to get down to one lane in both directions for a period of time. So expect some congestion in that area. They have assured us that it will be done by fall, so that as everybody starts to head into Boardman to do their Christmas shopping, we'll have the flow moving very smooth.
Great. I just wanted to mention too, when we talk about the grass and stuff, but what you might notice is some flowers and some plants around our new welcome signs. I do want to, just came to me, I want to thank the Boardman Lions. They kind of adopted all of our new signs, and they put down the mulch, they put the flowers, and I noticed there was just last week tulips around several of them that came in full bloom, and they're going to, I believe they announced that they have another day that they're going to have another work party, and they're going to go refresh and clean all those up, and then they're going to do the one that's coming in from Poland. And so I do want to thank the Boardman Lions for taking care of these signs and adopting them, because it's just they look they look spectacular.
Sounds look great. We got, I think, a few more to do, but they look
Right.
great. But I also want to mention that the 680 project, you know, it is going to be an inconvenience for a while, but we want to remind the folks in Boardman that you know a lot of the side roads and you know different ways to go around. If there's any way you can avoid that, go on some of the other roads, might be something you might want to consider over the next, over the summer. So those are some of the things that are going on. And the last issue we want to just touch on briefly is reiterate the issue that we've been having with our main fire station on Route 224. And that's something that we're going to have to address sooner than later.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, this has been going on for years, and right now it's about financing. But we do have some preliminary plans drawn up. We do have some cost estimates, and it's an expensive venture. But if you've ever, a lot of people, they don't even know where our main fire station is because it just kind of blends right in. It's kind of it's a real mess, but they've done a lot over the last year or so to clean it up just to kind of be respectful. I mean, there were some areas that we would have cited ourselves in
Even
zoning.
structurally, it's not all.
Yeah,
it's not all
and I mean, there's a lower level that we can't even use because of the sewage and the backup. And this isn't new, and when they usually in the fall have a open house at the main fire station. And so I encourage you, when the fire department has their open house, to go in there, take a tour of the place, take a look at it. But by all means, if you want a tour, just call.
And we're going to have to address that issue.
Yeah, and we got to do something. And I'm thinking that as a board, we're going to be asked sooner than later to make a decision. Where to put it, how to finance it, and what it should look like.
How to finance it. And yeah, we continue to explore all those options. They're not easy decisions, but those are things that we're all looking at so that we can move forward with that project.
Well, I think everybody involved has a location, a design, and then a cost factor in mind. And I know the three people sitting here, that cost factor, I mean, we want a sound structure for our men and women to, when they're housed there at night, you know, they do live there. And but we also have, we ordered a brand new ladder truck. We probably mentioned it before, but the brand new ladder truck can't even fit in the main station. We have to keep it over there in South Avenue. And it's probably not the best decision to have your ladder truck really the farthest point from the biggest buildings in Boardman. But that's our only option until we correct this. And we are looking to correct this.
And to make sure that we are able to have our fire department continue to support the southern part of the township, which has seen a lot of growth too over the last 15 years. So, well, those are the things that are happening this spring. Finally, the weather's broken. We're all thrilled about that. I just want to remind you once again, the Memorial Day Parade on May 27th, and also Community Day on June 1st. Please go onto the Boardman Township website and get some information about our photo contest that we're going to be having to work with Community Day. So, for Tom Costello and Brad Calhoun, I'm Larry Moliterno, and we'll see you next month.